Welcome to Soulful Sounds and Inspiration, where we share faith, hope, and the Word of God to inspire and uplift your spirit. Join us on this journey of faith.
Imagine waking up to find the Red Sea parting again or food miraculously falling from the sky. What if biblical miracles weren't just stories, but actual events happening today? Modern miracles. What if biblical wonders happened today? It started with a tweet. A grainy, shaky video posted by a tourist in Egypt captured something impossible. A massive wall of water, suspended like a glass curtain in the middle of the Red Sea. Scientists dismissed it as a hoax, an elaborate CGI trick. But when satellite images confirmed the anomaly, the world held its breath. For weeks, experts scrambled to explain the inexplicable. Oceanographers theorized about tectonic activity, meteorologists speculated on freak wind patterns, and conspiracy theorists flooded the internet with claims of divine intervention. But then it happened again. This time, in a bustling metropolis thousands of miles away. In the heart of New York City, a man named Elias Cohen stood in the middle of Times Square, his arms raised toward the heavens. The rain, which had been pouring for hours, suddenly parted around him. He stood completely dry as the storm raged on around him. The news networks picked it up immediately, dubbing him the man who commanded the rain. Elias claimed no supernatural abilities. "I just prayed," he told reporters. "I asked for the rain to stop, and it did." His words sent shockwaves through the religious and scientific communities alike. Was it a coincidence? An atmospheric fluke? Or was something far greater at work? Then came the mass healings. Hospitals in Rio de Janeiro reported something baffling. Patients with terminal illnesses were walking out of their beds, completely healed. A blind woman regained her sight after an unknown man touched her shoulder in a marketplace. Videos of these events went viral, and whispers of modern miracles spread across the world. Pope Francis addressed the phenomenon in a live broadcast. God has always worked in mysterious ways. Perhaps we are witnessing a new chapter in His divine story. But skeptics demanded proof. Governments launched investigations, desperate to maintain order in a world that was beginning to question the very fabric of reality. The climax came when the moon turned blood red over Jerusalem, on a night when no lunar eclipse had been predicted. Panic spread. The global stock market plummeted. Religious leaders called for prayer, while doomsday prophets filled the streets, proclaiming the end of days. Then, a voice was heard. It didn't come from speakers or radio waves. It resonated in every mind, in every language, in every corner of the earth. A simple message: be still and know that I am God. The world did not end that night, but it changed forever. Scientists, theologians, and world leaders convened to decipher what had happened, but there were no clear answers. Wars paused. Hate subsided. Humanity stood on the precipice of something new. For the first time in history, faith and reason sat at the same table, not as adversaries, but as allies in the pursuit of truth. Throughout history, miracles have been regarded as divine interventions, extraordinary events defying natural laws. In the Bible, these wonders often signified God's power, guidance, or judgment. But what if biblical miracles happened today? Would people recognize them as divine acts, or would they seek scientific explanations? Modern miracles. What if biblical wonders happened today? Explores this idea, prompting reflection on faith, skepticism, and the nature of miracles in a modern context. By analyzing biblical miracles and imagining their impact in today's world, we can draw powerful lessons about belief, morality, and the human response to the unknown. In ancient times, people viewed miracles as direct signs from God. However, today's world is driven by scientific reasoning, data, and empirical evidence. If a modern Moses parted a sea or Jesus fed thousands with a few loaves and fish, how would society react? Scientists might search for natural explanations, a seismic event creating a temporary land bridge or an undiscovered species of rapidly multiplying fish. News outlets would report conflicting narratives, and social media would be flooded with debates. While science helps us understand the world, it doesn't negate the possibility of the divine. True faith doesn't always require empirical proof. Rather, it invites us to acknowledge that some mysteries may transcend human understanding. Biblical miracles often unified or divided people. The plagues of Egypt forced Pharaoh to release the Israelites but also hardened his heart. Jesus' healings inspired faith in many, yet religious leaders saw him as a threat. In a modern context, miracles could have similar effects. Imagine a miraculous healing at a hospital. Would it inspire universal faith, or would skeptics dismiss it as an anomaly? If someone claimed to be a modern-day prophet performing miracles, would they be revered or ridiculed? Miracles don't always lead to belief. They can challenge existing structures, provoke controversy, and reveal the true nature of people's hearts. Biblical figures entrusted with miracles bore immense responsibility. Moses had to lead an entire nation, Elijah faced persecution, and Jesus endured suffering despite his divine abilities. Miracles weren't just displays of power, but tests of character. If someone today possessed miraculous abilities, how would they use them? Would they selflessly heal the sick and aid the poor, or would they seek personal gain? History shows that power can corrupt, and miraculous abilities would be no exception. True divine power is accompanied by humility and responsibility. Those blessed with extraordinary gifts, whether spiritual, intellectual, or material, must use them for good, not selfish ambition. In today's media-driven world, a modern miracle would likely be captured on video, analyzed in detail, and possibly turned into entertainment. Consider Jesus' refusal to perform miracles for spectacle, Matthew 4 verses 5 to 7. He rebuked the idea of proving divinity through sensational acts, focusing instead on meaningful, transformative miracles. Modern society's obsession with virality could turn genuine wonders into mere trends, diluting their spiritual significance. If miracles became public spectacles, would they lead to deeper faith or simply more curiosity? True miracles aren't about spectacle but transformation. They point to something greater: God's presence, love, and power at work in the world. Despite witnessing miracles, many in the Bible still doubted or turned away. The Israelites saw the Red Sea part but later questioned God's provision. Even after witnessing Jesus' resurrection, some hesitated. If miracles occurred today, would they compel universal belief? Likely not. Humans have free will, and belief is a personal journey. Miracles might inspire awe, but true faith requires an open heart. Faith isn't dependent on witnessing miracles. It's a choice. A hardened heart can see wonders and still reject them, while an open heart finds God even in the ordinary. While biblical miracles are extraordinary, everyday life is full of wonders. The birth of a child, the intricate balance of nature, and the resilience of the human spirit are all miraculous in their own way. In a world that often seeks grand signs, we may overlook the divine in the ordinary. Perhaps the greatest modern miracle isn't a supernatural event but the capacity for love, kindness, and redemption. Miracles aren't always about defying natural laws. Sometimes, the greatest wonders are found in everyday life, reminding us of God's presence in the smallest details. If biblical miracles occurred today, reactions would be varied. Some would believe, others would doubt, and many would seek scientific explanations. However, the true lesson isn't about whether miracles still happen but how we perceive and respond to them. By embracing faith, using our gifts responsibly, avoiding the temptation of spectacle, and recognizing the miraculous in the ordinary, we can live with a deeper awareness of the divine. Perhaps the greatest miracle isn't an extraordinary event, but the transformation of the human heart. Would you recognize a modern miracle if you saw one? Maybe you already have. If miracles happen today, would we recognize them or dismiss them as illusions? The answers may surprise you. Don't miss what's coming next.